Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a highly relatable, honestly kind of infuriating aspect of human biology, the absolute impossibility of maintaining a perfectly good bad mood. You know the exact feeling I'm talking about. Today we're going to break down the hard science behind this absolute physiological betrayal.
Okay, we have all been there, right? You've had a terrible day, you are embracing the misery, you've curated that perfect, stormy disposition, and you are working incredibly hard to stay mad at the world. Because, let's be honest, it takes real energy to maintain a reasonable sulk. You just want to be left alone with your hard-earned grumpiness.
But then, tragedy strikes. Someone, a friend, a barista, maybe just a random stranger on the street, flashes you this massive, genuine smile. And despite your absolute best efforts, despite your utter lack of consent to participate in this joy, the corners of your mouth twitch, and you smile back. Your sulk is completely ruined by unconsented happiness. Well, let's dive into exactly why your body refuses to let you stay miserable.
Section 1. The infuriating zygomaticus reflex.
To understand this betrayal, we first have to look at the epic battle happening right under your skin. Meet the two main combatants in the war for your mood. Over on the left is your corrugator supercilii. That's your dedicated frowning muscle. It's the one that fiercely furrows your brow when you're stubbornly clinging to your bad day. On the right, we have the zygomatic major, the muscle that pulls the corners of your mouth up into a smile. When someone smiles at you, your body feels a massive, overwhelming compulsion to fire up that zygomatic major, completely undermining all your corrugator's hard work.
Pioneering researcher Ulf Dimberg actually mapped out exactly how this biological hijacking happens. His model brilliantly illustrates that when you see a smiling face, a preconscious process intercepts the signal before your conscious, logical brain can even weigh in. Basically, your voluntary control gets completely hijacked by automatic activation.
Dimberg proved this in a fantastic 2002 study, where he literally instructed his subjects, do not react. He explicitly told them to keep a totally straight face while showing them pictures of happy and angry faces. But guess what? Their muscles rebelled anyway. When shown angry faces, their frowning muscles fired right up. When shown happy faces, their smiling muscles, those zygomatic muscles, involuntarily activated. Even when they were actively, desperately trying to suppress it, they physically mimicked the emotion they were looking at. This reflex is, for all intents and purposes, entirely unavoidable.
And the reason you can't stop it really just comes down to sheer speed. 300 to 400. It only takes 300 to 400 milliseconds for this automatic facial mimicry to kick in. That is a fraction of a second, way faster than the time it takes for your conscious brain to realize what's happening and tell your face to knock it off. By the time you consciously think, wait, I want to stay mad, it's too late. You're already smiling.
Section 2. Mirror neurons steal your mood.
Now, this betrayal doesn't just stay on your face, it goes deep into your brain's circuitry. Enter mirror neurons, famously discovered by Giacomo Rizzolatti's team in Italy. Think of mirror neurons as those overly enthusiastic roommates in your brain who insist on sharing absolutely everyone else's experiences. They live in your premotor cortex and they fire not only when you do something, but when you simply observe someone else doing that exact same thing. Cerebral activation scans actually show this in real time. When you observe an action, like a big goofy smile, your brain literally simulates the experience. Researcher Ursula Hess calls this the Sims model, or embodied simulation. Your brain is essentially mirroring the neural activity of the person smiling at you, forcing your own motor and somatosensory systems to run a full-blown simulation of someone else's joy.
I really like to think of embodied simulation like your brain downloading an emotional file you absolutely did not ask for, just to figure out what it means. To understand the smile you're looking at, your brain forces your body to physically recreate it. You're simulating their emotion to decipher it, effectively catching their mood like a highly contagious, highly unwanted virus of positivity.
But here is the fatal mistake we all make when trying to maintain a sulk: making eye contact. The research shows that our amygdala directs our attention straight to the eyes, and eye contact acts as a massive trigger for this embodied simulation. If you lock eyes with a smiling person, your amygdala essentially hits the big red launch button on the simulation, significantly increasing both your automatic facial mimicry and the intensity of the emotion you feel. So, if you want to stay miserable, whatever you do not look them in the eyes.
Section 3. Accidentally smiling your way happy.
Now we reach the most tragic, infuriating consequence of this whole biological sequence, actually feeling the happiness you were desperately trying to avoid. According to the facial feedback hypothesis, which was extensively studied by Dr. Nicholas Coles and backed up by massive global studies recently published in Nature Human Behavior, the literal physical stretch of your smile physiologically alters your state of mind. You see a smile, your zygomatic muscles involuntarily fire, your peripheral nervous system feels that stretch on your face, and it literally sends signals back up to your brain going, "Hey, we're smiling, we must be happy." And boom, you accidentally become genuinely happy.
If you need proof that your face is driving the car here, just look at studies involving Botox. When researchers like Henenlotter and his colleagues used Botox to temporarily paralyze certain facial muscles to block this mimicry, they found that it actually decreased emotional activation in the brain's limbic system. Because the participants couldn't physically mimic the expressions they were seeing, they didn't feel the simulated emotion as intensely. Your face is quite literally commanding your brain to feel joy.
Section 4, Blame Evolution and Empathy.
If you're wondering why we completely lack free will when it comes to smiling back, well, you can blame evolution. Researchers Fabrizio Maffesoni and Michael Lachman put together this fascinating game theoretical model showing that these involuntary behaviors, the mimicry, the simulation, the emotional contagion, they're essentially just byproducts of our evolutionary need to mind read and cooperate. In order for early humans to survive, we had to instantly understand the intentions of the people around us, bonding with them and predicting their actions. Emotional contagion is basically the glue of human social cooperation.
Which brings us to what's known as the empathic gradient. Because we evolved to be highly social beings, this uncontrollable mimicking reflex is actually so much stronger with your kin and your in-group members. That means your friends, your family, your close coworkers, they trigger this automatic facial mimicry more intensely than anyone else, which is wonderfully poetic because they are exactly the people most likely to try and cheer you up when you are stubbornly determined to be in a bad mood. And we even see this exact same kin-based contagion in other highly social primates like bonobos.
So, to wrap this all up, the next time you try to maintain a perfectly reasonable, thoroughly earned sulk, and some cheerful person completely ruins it by smiling at you, don't be too hard on yourself. You didn't choose to smile back. Your zygomatic major, your overly enthusiastic mirror neurons, and millions of years of evolutionary survival chose for you. You are simply outvoted by biology. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you leave here completely unable to suppress your next smile.